go.
Where are you gonna be?
Let's do this seat right here. Alrighty. Well, welcome everybody online, and welcome everybody here. So we got these wonderful ushers, and they're going to be the mentors for our ushers and greeters here. So first we'll just go over the outlines of the greeters. So if you guys want to pull that out. And the reason why we're putting the ushers and the greeters kind of together is those are very, very similar ministries. Ushers are just like an extension of the greeters pretty much. Alright, so just on the top it says that the ministry of greeter consists of making people feel welcome, have a ministry of joy to lighten the burdens that people bring to them to church, and also to make God's love for people visible to others. So we ask that the greeters arrive about 20 minutes before Mass starts. You'll sign in on the sign-in sheet we have in the narthex, and go ahead and grab your greeter name tag from the phone file board thing. And then we're asking you to like greet at the doors, greet at the parking lots. What we're pretty much wanting to get away from is just like having a line of greeters, because this seems a little awkward. It's just like a line shaking people's hands. So if you guys could just like spread out, and like maybe somebody at the east, or at each of the doors, maybe somebody in the parking lot helping people get out of their cars if need be, or just a few people in the narthex itself, just kind of spreading out and welcoming people. So we ask you to just go ahead and greet with a big old smile. Offer to shake their hands, or if they're nervous about COVID, or you yourself are nervous about COVID, do a little wave or an elbow bump. And make sure to introduce yourself, ask the people their names if you're comfortable doing that and you don't know them. If they have any questions about what's going on in the church, try to answer that the best you can. If you are wanting to and you're gung-ho all about this, go ahead and check out the bulletin, see if we have any events going on coming up soon. And go ahead and invite the people to those events as well. And invite them to things like the coffee and donuts that we have every week after Mass as well for the Sunday Masses. Just make sure you smile and give special attention to people you don't recognize. We want them to come back. They might be new to our parish, or they might be just visiting. And the next time they're visiting in Pueblo, we'd like to have them come back to our parish. We love our parish, and we hope they love our parish as well. And if you're talking to a friend and you notice that there's a person that you don't recognize, just say something like, "Please excuse me for a few seconds." Go ahead and introduce yourself and greet that person, and then you can go back to talking with your friends. We want to just be sure to prioritize talking to people we may not know. That way we can leave them feeling welcomed in our parish. And then we're also making a slight little change. We're asking that everybody stays in the narthex for about the first 5 minutes of Mass, pretty much after the Gloria, or when Father Carl starts to collect that prayer at the beginning. Just for any latecomers, usually the latecomers would come within those 5 minutes, just to greet them and make them feel welcome as well. So the greeters will be choosing the gift bearers. These are the people who carry up, the way we've been doing it recently is the two patents of the hosts from the back to the front. So the greeters will choose two gift bearers. Try not to choose the same people, but good options are families, couples, little kids, siblings. People like that are great options for choosing the gift bearers. So after you pick them, go ahead and make sure you let the sacristans know who they are. That way the sacristans know when to go up and guide them on what to do and everything when it comes. And also be sure to write down the gift bearers' names on our ministry list that we have when you signed in. And try not to pick the same people. Try to just shake it up and have a big variety of people. And so a thing that we're adding is after Mass, return to the narthex. So right before Father and the deacons process back, go ahead and sneak away into the narthex. And while you're in there, just as people are leaving, invite them to come to coffee and donuts, or if we have any other events going on in the parish, invite invite them to that as well. And then after that's just done, you just go ahead and return your name tag to the phone board, and we thank you all for your great ministry of greeter. And just a little reminder, if you cannot be at Mass, just try and find a substitute. If you're having trouble finding a substitute, you can reach out to myself or your minister mentors who are here in this room right now, and we'll try and work that out for you. But if you can, just give us a heads up if you're not going to be able to make it. And again, we thank you for your wonderful ministry of greeter.
It's nice to have this list with names and phone numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Sure,
Even though we know each other. It's,
that way Zach's not doing everything for all of us.
yeah, that's very helpful.
That's good.
Is the list updated?
Yeah, it should be, that's the most update we have. And if you see, there might be, depending on your Mass, there might be some highlighted names. The red highlighted, they're off the list for now. The yellow highlighted, they're only available for like if there needs to be a fill-in. They don't want to be regularly scheduled. So those are good people. If somebody needs to have a fill-in, those are good people to contact.
Nice. Okay.
All right, so with that, we'll move on to the ushers. All right, so just kind of an overview of the ushers. You make people feel welcome. You smile and treat them respectfully so they have a reason to return. Give special attention to people you may not know, and you are the first-hand witness of God's love we share in our parish for those coming to worship and celebrate Mass. So with the ushers, we ask that you arrive 15 to 20 minutes before Mass starts. And go ahead and check your name off at the ministry sheet that we have in the narthex. Put on your usher name tag, and you'll find that in the little foam file board thing. Go ahead and check out the bulletin before Mass so you're prepared to answer any questions people might have about any events, or go ahead and invite people to any events we have going on as well. So you'll basically, at the beginning of Mass, just before it starts, as people come in, if the church gets relatively full, you'll usher people in who come in and they're having trouble finding a seat. Go ahead and just keep an eye out for open seats and usher them to those seats if, again, that's if the church is relatively full and they're having trouble. So we'll have this back row, these back two rows, are generally reserved for the ushers, or you can continue to sit in the back with these chairs right here if you're more comfortable with that. But you and your family are welcome to go ahead and sit in one of the back two pews or those chairs in the back. And so yeah, you can go ahead and sit with your family with that. During the Mass, we ask that one usher to just be in the back, just kind of handle any situations that may arise. And if there is a situation, that usher in the back, you're more than welcome to reach out to any of the other ushers or any of the staff if you need more assistance with that. So you'll be able to handle those emergencies and non-emergencies that may come about. We ask that you handle disorderly people the best you can and know your own limits. Know when to, God forbid, if something happens where we have to call the police, don't be afraid to do that. We hope these things never happen, but on the event that they could, we ask that you know your own limits and call 911 if you think it is necessary. We have a first aid kit in the credenza. If somebody ends up scraping themselves, hurting themselves in any way, we do have that first aid kit. You guys, we will ask you guys to go ahead and help anybody who may have been ill and fainted or anything like that. Just provide that help, and again, if need be, call 911 for the person, and escort the people who are in need of assistance back into the nearest exits or into the narthex if that's available. And so after about 5 minutes into Mass, we ask that you guys go ahead and lock all the exterior doors. So that will be the doors by the choir or the cantors, all the doors in the narthex, and then the door in the cry room as well. Go ahead and lock those up after about 5 minutes, just so that we're making sure to keep everybody safe. so we don't have anybody that might be of danger come in and pose a threat to our parishioners, just to keep everybody safe. Go ahead and lock those doors. And then moving on to when the collections, when we take up the collection, the sacristans usually be back there to help you out, but go ahead and pick up your basket. We'll have 4 baskets for each of the ushers. So we'll pick up our basket at the credenza at the back of the church at the end of the creed or the universal prayers, and then position yourself 2 ushers in the center aisle, and then 1 usher on either side of the church, the ambo side or the choir side. So you'll go after the intercessory prayers. You'll hear the choir or the cantor start singing or playing music. You go ahead and walk all the way up to the front of the church, and once you get up there, go ahead and, if you're able to, genuflex towards the altar. If not, go ahead and do a bow or anything like that. And after you do that, go ahead and turn around, and you'll just hand the baskets down each row. Generally, people will take the basket, and even if they need to get out, they'll get out to move to the next person over, and just keep passing the basket around. There'll be some situations where there might be just 1 person at the end of the pew. You can go ahead and just hold the basket out in front of them. If they want to give their gift, they'll give their gift. Otherwise, just move on. You don't have to worry about handing it down the aisle. So yeah, they'll start from the front and just make your way back. You and the other usher will just keep passing them back and be diligent about that. So after the collection is complete, 1 usher will come into the cry room, see if there's anybody who wants to give a gift in the cry room. And after that, you'll return to the back of the church and we'll combine all the offerings into a bank bag. The sacristans usually will be there to help us out with that. Try and squeeze most of the air out of the bank bag. That way it'll just fit in the safe a little bit easier. And so 2 ushers will then carry the bank bag forward, and those gift bearers that the greeters have chosen will follow you as well, follow behind you. So the 2 ushers, usually we ask that it's 2 ushers that are not necessarily the same family, just to keep everybody accountable. We don't expect any problems of that to arise, but just to make sure nothing might come about. So you'll go all the way to the back, and then something that will change is Father Carl's actually going to be joining 1 or both the deacons at the front steps. So when you process up, you'll just go up towards Father Carl and the deacons at the steps. You'll bow towards them, and then you'll go up at the steps on the ambo side, and behind that wall, there's a little closet that has a drop box. You'll go ahead and drop the money bag into that drop box and come back out with the basket, and go ahead and move back to the back of the church and place the basket in the credenza going down the side of the ambo side. And then final thing, during the Eucharist, when we're handing out the Eucharist, 2 of the ushers will go to the front like normal and just gotta help guide people through the line of the Eucharist line. And then be sure afterwards, pay attention to any parishioners who might not be able to get up and into the line, who still would want to receive the Eucharist if they're handicapped or whatever is going on. Be sure to let the deacons or Father Carl know that that person needs to receive the Eucharist, and if you can, after you receive, go ahead and stand next to that person. That way it's easier for Father Carl and the deacons to recognize that this person needs to receive the Eucharist. And then that'll be the same if we do end up having Eucharistic ministers again. Go ahead and let them know, and do the same thing with them as well. Then after Mass, you guys will distribute the bulletins. Usually 2 ushers will be good for that. So go ahead and choose amongst yourselves for that. And so after you're done handing out the bulletins, just go ahead and scan the pews to see if there's any trash that might have been left behind, or if there's some books misplaced or anything. Just try and straighten up the pews. It doesn't have to be spotless, but just kind of do a quick scan of it. And then after that, go ahead and return your Usher name tag and a few extra steps for the 4 o'clock and the 11 o'clock masses. You'll kind of assist the sacristans with checking the bathrooms to make sure no one's left in there, and go ahead and prop open those doors. That way we just know that there's nobody in the church, that we don't want to lock anybody in here. And then go ahead and turn off the lights in the cry room and the baptistry and the icon, the lights that go on the icon. Those switches are between the doors leading out to the narthex. And then if there's a baptism after Mass, obviously you want to leave the baptistry lights on. And then push all the doors to make sure they're locked, and if they're not locked, go ahead and do that. So that's for after the 4 o'clock and 11 o'clock masses. So after the 8 o'clock mass, Father Carl wants to leave the church actually open for people who want to pray between the 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock masses. So that's, we're asking that you make sure that those doors are actually, the doors to the narthex, cry room, and the side doors for the choir. We ask that you have those, make sure those doors are unlocked, so that way people can get in here and pray if they wish. And that concludes the ushers. Did you guys in here have any questions that you think people might have that I can clarify here now?
Well, I know during the 11 o'clock mass, mostly all 4 of us sit back there.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's completely fine.
Okay.
Whatever you guys are most comfortable with, but we will generally have at least the back pew on the choir side reserved for the ushers and their families if they wish to sit there.
Okay.
But if you're more comfortable sitting in the back underneath the icon, that's fine as well.
Well, we've been doing this for how long now? 2 years? Something like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we were invited by Father. He called and can't turn him down.
Right.
I think that's how a lot of people signed up originally, and I feel like it's been a blessing.
That's good.
Me too.
It just feels so good, and then you feel more like a family when you're involved. So it's meant a lot to us to be able to come here and be greeters and ushers. So
I'm glad you said that, 'cause that's exactly how I
it
felt.
doesn't just feel so rewarding.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it really
very
is.
rewarding.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love it. So I was glad he called. I don't know that I would have done it otherwise, you know, because you're both anxious.
Well, I just signed up when he told us to sign up. Otherwise, I felt obligated, to be honest with you. I felt obligated to do it. But once I started doing it, I'm so glad.
It's a good thing.
And how can you turn Father John
Oh,
down?
no, there was no way.
How's he doing? Does anybody know?
He's actually doing a lot better. He's at home now, and his sister, last I knew, was helping to take care of him. He's doing physical therapy, and that's going well. He's expecting to be on his feet probably by the end of next month or November.
Great.
Yeah. He's just as joyful as he was before.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's just who he is. Yeah, overall, both of these positions, greeter and usher, are so simple.
Mhm.
They're just very easy to do. It's not a challenge at all.
No.
So it's, like I said, I just feel like it's been really rewarding. I think if anybody else signed up, they would love it too. A little anxiety, a little anxious when you first start, but then after you've done it a couple of times, it's so easy.
That's good.
So it's awesome. But thank you for
Yeah.
for making our list and for organizing.
Oh, yeah.
It's really appreciated.
Not a problem.
We know exactly where to go. But these lists, I do have to say, I mean, I made a comment earlier that it's too bad we don't have a directory. The last directory, I think, was way back in 2014 or something.
We do have a directory in the office, but there's been some concerns about people's contact information
Well,
being
sure,
out there.
understand.
Yeah.
Understandable. I know one time I tried to get an address of somebody to send a get well card to, and I was told they would have to get a hold of them and approve it first, which makes sense.
It does.
Right.
These days, you just,
Yeah, but I like the directory, even if it's just pictures, you know, people, but,
Yeah.
so. Too bad we got to think about all those things, huh?
Yeah. Alright, did you all have any other final questions or thoughts?
That's well explained.
Alright.
Did a great job with this explanation. So if someone is interested, if we have somebody in there interested, best thing is to talk to them a little bit and then maybe give them this, a sheet of this, so that they can read through it, and then if they have any questions, they can ask.
I can go ahead and email you guys these sheets and also the contact sheets as well.
Okay.
However you guys are most comfortable with helping that person come into that, whether it's just handing them the sheets and maybe sending them this video that we're making, or if you want to have them shadow you while you're ushering, or have them shadow another usher or greeter that you think they're rock stars at the ministry. If you feel like that's the best way to train them, that's good too. Or basically giving you guys the freedom to train however you wish, just following the guidelines that we gave you.
Okay.
And so whatever you guys feel like is the best way to do it, by all means do it.
Definitely open if someone is interested, and we're serving, either way, we're more than happy to have them shadow.
Awesome.
Just glad to do that.
Alright.
Okay.
If someone is interested, who can help us with the name tags?
With Mary Meisner, she's the one who makes the name tags, so, if you wanna go ahead and contact her or myself, we can make those name tags for them. And then, while you're training them, and if they feel like they're comfortable to be put on the schedule, just go ahead and reach out to me. I'll update the list, and, I'll start scheduling them as well.
Are we gonna start at the, office again?
We are looking to eventually do that, again, it's just, trying to, in that transition of, Father Carl coming in and, Catherine, retiring, we're just trying to find the time and the manpower to get that started, but we are looking to get that started, hopefully before the year ends.
So you said if we wanted to be an admin on Flock Notes, we can do that, and we can use that to look for substitutes?
Yeah, you could definitely use that as well.
Does it let us text those people? Or?
Yep, if we make you an admin, you can text, you can email, yeah.
Glad to help any way we can.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if everybody else is done, but if you guys have any more questions, you're more than welcome to ask them, otherwise we can go ahead and head up to the front of the church.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Yeah, well, again, get a hold of us if you know someone that just wants to shadow and try it out. Just let us know. We're happy to help.
Sounds good.
And I don't think we have to be an administrator to be able to text people. Can we just create a group?
Yeah, if you want, you can go ahead and just text people directly from that list. With Blocknote, we have everybody's contact information
Right.
already stored, and with that, we would have to make you an admin. But if you want to use your personal cell phone and your personal email, you're more than welcome to use that as well.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. But
The
that was-
advantage
that was-
is hopefully Flock Notes stays up to date where the sheet of paper goes out of date. So.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly right, very true.
Mhm.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Zach.
Mhm.